Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Two guys in their early 50s, Andy Walker. Ooh, I feel like something has changed.
Yes, I think it has. Although with the two guys in their early 50s, I mean, that's really not going to last that long, is it? So we're going to have to change the intro again at some stage in the not too distant future. Because, I mean, it's only a couple of years away and I'm in my mid-50s, so like that throws that intro out the window.
Well, I just don't know how I don't know how good it's going to sound if we go one guy in his early 50s and another guy in his mid-50s.
I think we need to record something that will last us like for, maybe 10 years.
Two guys of an indiscriminate age.
Yeah.
Far out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're good for now.
Yeah, we are.
We've got a couple.
We are early 50s.
We've got a couple of episodes in us until we have to change that again. And Pilgrim's open to suggestions on where you think that it should go from here, because I'm not sure. So there you go. Yeah, what a weekend, Andy Walker.
We had a great weekend. Great weekend.
What a weekend.
Really nice to come out and spend some time out at Orange. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. Went to a very, very nice winery and had some lunch and stunning views over the wineries at Orange. And while we've been to Orange a number of times, we played the Duntry. The Heart Open at Duntry Leagues. I don't know how many times we've played in that, but it's been a few now. But I've never actually been to the wine district.
Oh,
in
really?
Orange.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we did have a romantic afternoon at Phillip Shaw one time.
We did. That
nice.
was as far as I ventured into the wine district of Orange. But this was sort of well into the up into the. Is it the Orange Hills? Is that what you call it?
Well, what you would call it is the foothills of Mount Canobolas.
Right.
You may not know this, but Mount Canobolas is the highest peak in Australia between the Blue Mountains and Perth.
There you go. No, I did not know that.
It is a very low bar to step over when you think of most of Australia, i.e. the Nullarbor Plain is incredibly flat. There you go. Yeah. And it's about, Mount Canobolas is at about 1,000 metres, which is about 3,500 feet.
Yep. So in the grand scheme of things, not that high, but it's still high enough to get snow. Right?
It does get snow in the winters. Yeah. It does. Yep. So there you go. That was awesome. I mean, far out. What a great lunch. What a great evening. Some highly competitive bocce in the backyard.
May have been competitive, but I'm not convinced that the standard was that high.
I think that there were a few issues with the ground that we were landing the balls on. They seemed to take some interesting bounces from time to time. I blame the fescue grass that we were playing bocce in. I'm not sure that that's exactly what you would go for in a competitive bocce arena. But anyway,
so what would you do, cooch, or like what do you think is the grass of choice for bocce?
I think technically it's played on a sandy loam type arena.
Okay,
which is unsurprising because the word arena itself being the Latin word for sand. Did you know that? No, I didn't. There you go. If you did a tour of the Colosseum in Rome, you would probably learn that random fact. But there you go. They had sand on the floor so that it would soak up the blood of the gladiators, Andy Walker.
Right. So that means that, of course, last week I actually went down to Sydney and saw Bryan Adams in concert at Kudos Bank Arena. So
was he on the sand?
What you're telling me is they're lying, right? It's not actually the correct term to use for that sort of stadium.
Yeah, that's right. You might also say that there have been times, for example, on a par 3 when you hit your tee shot into the arena.
I can't say I've played too many par 3s where I've hit a shot into the arena, but
well, I mean, you might miss the green and end up in the arena. Oh, yeah, bunker. Come on, Andy Walker. Keep up.
Okay.
Anyway, slight digression. Definitely senility is kicking in the early middle age as we go off on these random tangents. But Andy Walker, I've got a bit of Voice of the Pilgrims I want to share with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep.
Because I think you'll enjoy this. And I'll start.
Does it have anything to do with me not playing golf still?
Oh, yeah. I've got one of them too. Let me jump to that and then we'll jump back to the other one. So
hit me with it.
Yeah, this is good. This one comes from friend of the show, Alex from New South Wales, who was referencing the goal setting episode. I think is quite clear, which was our previous episode. And he says, I think this week's episode should have been called goal setting in brackets and why I won't achieve them.
Okay. And was there any sort of extrapolation of
there was. He follows up with, how is he getting to scratch if he doesn't actually play golf? Which, in fairness, is a reasonable question.
Well, I mean, look, given like how well I'm setting up the Missing Links Golf Show High Performance Centre Lake Macquarie, I could actually start playing in a couple of simulated golf comps where I could get my handicap down to scratch in a simulated environment.
Not quite the same, is it?
Look, I'm not saying it is, but you know, there was no specification on where I need to have a scratch handicap.
No, that's true. So you're saying that you could simulate being a scratch handicapper?
Exactly.
Not too sure about that. Anyway, so that was a good one. There's another one comes from also very good friend of the show, Kerrod, Big K from also New South Wales. Kerrod says, a bit of a heartfelt message, this one, Andy Walker, so strap yourself in. He says, I was having a very negative start to my work day, which put me in a horrible mood. Not ideal.
It's not good.
Then he said, finally got in the car to start driving, and I started listening to last week's podcast episode. 45 minutes later, laughing and commenting back. Now, seriously, Kay, you can't just comment back to the radio in the car. He said, commenting back, I realised I should send a message to let you know I bloody love this podcast. Happy birthday for a few days ago, and no doubt we'll catch up with Andy at the Macquarie Cup in Easter. How good's that?
That's awesome.
We've turned a Pilgrim's Day around.
I haven't seen Kerrod for a little while. We've had a couple of good weekends away, and looking forward to catching up with Kerrod again. We'll definitely be out there at the Macquarie Cup in late April, so looking forward to catching up for sure.
Yeah, great fella, and very, very happy to hear that a little bit of ridiculous banter between the two of us could help someone deal with a rough day at work. So for all the other people.
And did I see he's playing golf again? Did I see a reasonably good score?
You did.
Come in?
You did.
For the yearly championship?
He has registered a card in the yearly championship, something neither of us are yet to do. So that's exciting. There's been a few come in. So Pilgrims, the month is not yet over, albeit by the time you listen to this, it's going to be very, very close to over. So get your cards in for February. There's still points on the table to be won. I know I'm going to be doing everything I possibly can to get out there in the comp on Saturday. I need to organise myself for that.
I'm not booked in yet, but I do have Tuesday, next Tuesday on the radar to sneak one in just before the end of the month.
It's tricky. It's not an easy time of year. Yeah. The month of February is always a bit of a challenge. It's back to school month and all that sort of stuff in Australia as well, which doesn't help.
Yeah, and look, we come back to like moving house as well. Like moving house is just.
Haven't you moved already?
Well, yeah, but I'm still in the process of selling the old house, and
Right.
the purchases are just being painful, and wanting to do additional inspections and
Mm.
trying to negotiate stuff, and you've
No,
just got to go back and
negotiation. It's just overrated.
yeah, I know you just got to go back and say
No.
no,
Say no. No, you're not doing it.
like yeah,
Take a drop, take the penalty, play it as it lies.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, but anyway. That's I guess the process of buying and selling houses, right?
Yeah, it's never fun. It's never fun. But on all of those topics, we have received some criticism in recent times for not playing enough golf. We just heard that from Alex from New South Wales. But Andy Walker, it's good to know that in fact we have played a little bit of golf recently.
Yeah, we did sneak out. And not only have we played golf together, which is quite
I know, that's quite something.
Unusual. Yeah, quite an unusual
that's a
occurrence.
feat.
So yeah, we did sneak out and play 9 holes at Wentworth Golf Club on Friday afternoon, which was a lot of fun. Only social, wasn't a comp round, but that was my first golf on a golf course for 2025.
Wow. It's quite something as well. I think it's only fair that we take the Pilgrims through that round in laborious detail just to make up for the fact that we've not had enough golf to actually talk about up to this point in the year. So what are your thoughts?
Well, look, look, parts of it were good, parts of it, well,
weren't,
not so much.
Yeah, I mean, albeit
but it was a very enjoyable 9 holes.
We were fortunate with the weather as well.
We snuck in just before it started absolutely pelting down with rain.
Didn't it?
And not only just rain, there was a bit of thunder and lightning, and yes, not the sort of weather you want to get out and play in. However, I did notice there was a 4-ball that went out down 10 just as we were walking off 18, and I just looked at her and went, "What are you guys doing?" Like,
bad decisions.
Playing golf in a thunderstorm, man. Like
bad. Yeah, I can't believe they were allowed to tee off anyway. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So yeah, we played 9 holes. It was a relatively late afternoon 9, and it was off the 10th. We went because we were able to play either 9. And to be fair, I think that the back 9 at Wenty's a little bit more interesting. It's definitely longer. And a few more of the tougher holes out there. So we gave that one a shake. So there we were. We're standing on the 10th tee, new tee box, because I have done some renovations, obviously, with the brand new clubhouse that they've got there. So the new tee box in play. Nice elevated tee box, which I thought was good. And I think I stepped up first to have a bit of a lash as you were still mucking about with your rented pool trolley.
I'm not used to to actually pulling a bag and trolley. Given I've now got my MGI electric buggy and just mosey on around the course behind that. So very bit of a different experience having to actually pull a set of golf clubs. I mean, what's that about?
I know it is a bit strange, and it's quite a hilly course as well. So that is always fun. But we stepped up onto the 10th tee. Nice kind of benign straightaway par 4 to start things off. And I actually encountered one of those unwritten rules of golf at this point, Andy Walker, that a lot of people may not be aware of. And that rule of golf is this. It is that every single time that you top and roll a tee shot off your first tee, there will be someone watching.
Yep.
That was disappointing.
That's obviously inclusive of the 10th tee as well.
Well, it's the first day we played for the day,
Mind you, in saying that, I mean, I think you've got to give yourself a little bit of leeway. I mean, there's not any practice nets or warm-up facilities at Wenny. So, it was cold straight off out of the car from the car park onto the 10th tee and give it a rip. Like,
I think you're being kind.
It's not exactly the most conducive to playing your best golf.
No, it's not. But even with all of that, I think you're still entitled to hit the bottom half of the golf ball.
Look, I'm trying to be positive, right? I'm trying to sit here and go, you know what, it wasn't as bad as what it looked, but I mean, it was.
Yeah,
It just was.
and there's nothing better than that. Once you do that, and you're like, oh man, that was really bad, and then you hear, oh, g'day, Hinksy, from the balcony. Yeah, shout out to Jimmy, good fella Jimmy, one of the fellow dads from our school, who just happened to be there watching as we were teeing off. So we went there. It got better though, because that shot actually ended up in a little hole because it didn't quite make the fairway. So
it was an ordinary lie.
It was a very ordinary lie.
Very, very ordinary.
And I knew that. And I pulled out my 5-wood thinking this is a really stupid club choice because it's a very ordinary lie. But you know what? I want to hit my 5-wood, so I'm going to do it. So again, I hit the upper half of the ball and rolled it another 100 metres. Far out. And then put a hybrid onto the green from about 170 out to make it nice.
It was actually a very, very good shot for your third, I have to admit. It
nice.
Covered the flag quite well and ended up a little bit past the flag, but still, you had a par putt.
I had a par putt and I ended up with an easy 2-putt bogey. So
yeah, I mean, after 2 cold tops to start with, to end up having a par putt, I think is a reasonably good effort.
You know what it was? It was going, I'm not getting upset. I'm not at all. Because particularly with the second one, I'm like, there is a high percentage chance that this is going to roll on the ground. I'll try and turn the 5-wood into a shovel, but even so, it's probably not going to happen.
Do you feel as though if we got John Sherman back on the show that he would have approved of that club choice?
Oh, there's not a chance that he would have. I didn't even approve of it at the time.
But you still hit it.
I wanted to, so I did.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really thinking about score. I was thinking about this is an opportunity to 5-wood. Anyway, that's all good.
So here's the question. If it was a competition.
Not a chance.
You would have chosen a different club.
I probably would have hit a 7-iron at that point.
Yeah, right.
And tried to get it up to about, kind of 60 or 70 out. I wouldn't hit the 5-wood. No way. Not with that lie. That could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, it was ordinary.
Could have gone anywhere. So anyway, that was my hole. Nice bogey to start. How did you go, Andy Walker? Slightly better tee shot?
Yeah, slightly better tee shot in front of a crowd. Don't mind a crowd. So
show pony. Good work.
No warm up. I actually felt a little bit tight in the lower back, but managed to be able to pull out a decent swing and ripped a drive down the right hand side of the fairway, which I was reasonably happy with. Although I didn't get any applause, so
no.
I mean, I'm not quite sure why that wasn't the case, but anyway, that's
no. The crowd, they're a tough crowd at Wentworth. They love a bad shot. They really get behind it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a better reaction from a stone cold top.
Yeah.
Than what I got from smoking my tee shot down the right side of the fairway.
Yeah. It was not unlike the watering hole at the Live event in Adelaide, or what is it, the 16th or whatever that crazy hole is at the Wasted Management. A little bit. Probably not quite as rowdy as that, but. Jimmy was giving it a good shake nonetheless.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a good drive. It was a good drive.
At least there, you get a hole in one and the crowd goes nuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they cheer good shots. They appreciate, good golfers.
Yeah. Not like the Friday afternoon at the local down in Orange. Yeah. Anyway. So up the right side of the fairway. And from there?
Yeah, so I had about, I think it was about 84 to the flag, which pulled out my 54 and hit actually quite a good shot that I was happy with. It landed probably, maybe 8 feet short of the flag and then just jagged back close down to the front of the green. So I had about about 25-foot putt would have been, which managed to have a fairly comfortable 2-putt par.
Very good. Very good. So that took us on to the 2nd/11th. How did you go on 11, Andy Walker?
Interesting tee shot. I hit a big high cut over the trees on the right-hand side. And as I was walking up to find my ball, I thought maybe it might have been in the middle of the fairway on the hole coming back the other way. It wasn't. It was actually in the far rough of that hole. So not only had I missed the fairway I was aiming at, I'd hit it over that, and they're not small trees, right?
No, they're not.
They were quite. Those trees were quite high, and I sort of got it over that, and over the next fairway and into the rough, coming down the hole was coming back the other way, so it was down the left hand side of the opposing hole. So, but interestingly, coming back to the green, I only had 87 meters, which again I hit a 54 onto the green and
nice
had
shot.
a fairly easy 2-putt par.
Stress-free golf at this point. It's probably worth mentioning Pilgrims on the tee. Andy Walker hadn't played this course before, and I did mention that there was nothing good missing left, and if you were going to miss, definitely miss right. That was the place to go. I'd never seen anyone miss that far right, though, to be perfectly honest. That was quite special.
Yeah. I did mention as I walked off the 11th green that had that been my home club, I'd be loading off the tee, and probably be taking a 6 or a 7.
Yes, correct. That is correct. So on that hole, I also missed right, but only slightly, which was unfortunate because rather than having your situation of going over the trees and then having a nice clear line back at the green, I went into the trees and then was stymied underneath the tree and had to bunt out about another 30 metres up the fairway, at which point I hit a sandwich onto the green and safe 2-putt bogey for a +2 after 2. Which, look, it wasn't too bad because at that point I didn't feel like I even had the semblance of a swing. Only bet +2 was okay.
Well, I was going to say I don't think you'd actually hit a golf shot by then, but you're third into the first or the 10th.
That was okay.
Was actually a reasonably good golf shot.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, the sandwich onto the green on the second hole was not too bad.
Yeah, right. Oh, I didn't see that because I was so far.
Because you were you were playing a different golf course at that point.
Yep.
So we move on to the third. We'll call it the third. Let's just go through this. Like it doesn't really matter what the actual hole number is for the point of the Pilgrims. It's the third hole we played. We'll call it the third. So this is a pretty longish par 4, but it goes down the hill straight, out of bounds up the right. Very heavily cambering fairway from right to left, which takes you towards some massive big pine trees. That if you get under them, there's nothing good going on down there. So you really do need to, kind of keep it on the right side of the fairway, which does make it a tricky tee shot. So, I therefore decided to step up and slap another worm burner quite low, which was dreadful. Anyway, it was, as they say, a fairway in regulation. And,
it was. And I did make that comment as we were walking down the fairway.
Which was hilarious at the time. Left me, what was I? I was probably about 185 out or something like that still, metres. And so hit a hybrid, but it leaked, hanging lie, ball below the feet, leaked a bit left, missed the green, missed the bunker to the left in the rough, and therefore the chip back over the bunker with 0 spin. Just watching that roll off the other edge of the green, chipping back on 2-putt double. That's an absolute shocker at that point.
Yeah.
That was difficult.
I mean, it was easy.
It's difficult to swallow.
Like the double.
It's difficult to deal with and not get cranky. But we were out for a nice afternoon, so we shake that off. It was okay.
Yep. Well, however, because having not played the golf course, I was relying on my playing partner to give me some tips, and he did give me a line which I hit. It felt like it was a reasonably good golf shot. It was just slightly right of the line that my playing partner had given me, and as soon as I hit it off the tee, we looked, and I was a bit concerned that it was sort of heading more into the right tree line, and my playing partner said to me, "Oh no, that's actually going to be really good. Like you're going to bounce out and going to be sort of down on the fairway because it all sort of cambers back to the left. So that's actually going to be really good."
Is that what happened?
No. It was actually in the right tree line. And I was under a tree with a very restricted swing.
Sorry about that.
And while you were, playing your second shot from your fairways hit, I was probably about 150 meters in front of you with, with a very restricted swing. And at that stage, I got my distance to what I thought was the flag.
Mm.
And I punched a 6-iron way over the back of the green.
What happened, Andy Walker?
Into the back trees. And I went, what's going on there? Like, that doesn't make sense. I actually hit the shot that I wanted to. So I pulled up my rangefinder again and realized that the actual meterage that I'd sort of got was to the back trees. I wasn't actually doing it to the pin.
You zapped the back trees.
Completely.
It's an absolute rookie error.
It is. But like Friday afternoon when I just had a sort of 4.5 hour drive, wasn't exactly sort of focused on the whole of my game. So really tough pitch and run. I couldn't actually pitch it onto the green because I had an overhanging branch. As it was up a pretty steep embankment. I actually hit close to the shot that I wanted, but just went straight into the upslope and stopped dead because the grass was pretty thick.
So thick.
But then I managed to get up and down for a easy 5, so bogey 5, so 1 over after 3.
See, I reckon in hotels I've slept on mattresses that are not as thick as the grass at the back of that green.
It was pretty thick.
It was outrageous. So that then moves us on to, what is it, the 4th that we play. So that's a par 3 down the hill.
Was it about 147 or 149?
Yeah, it was playing. It was close to 150.
Something like that. Yep.
So, so on that one I took an 8-iron. Hit not a bad 8-iron, but just blocked it left a little bit. Was more or less pin high to a frontish pin. But similar to your situation on the previous hole, under an overhanging tree, so couldn't go high. And then there was also a bunker just in front of the green to contend with. So I reckon I had about a metre and a half between the edge of that bunker and the front of the green to try and run one up, nestle it up somewhere near the pin. I've got to say, I reckon I hit about the best shot I hit all day with that one to get it up there to a pretty easy par putt range and got what was a really, really pleasing up and down for par to right the ship after the double. If I'd gone bogey or worse at that point, then the wheels could have absolutely fallen off. But to par that one from being out of position, I was actually really happy with that.
Yeah, no, it was a really good recovery shot. I was very impressed with that nice little pitch and run that you had through from the left trees. It was very good. I hit an 8-iron, probably my second worst swing of the day. Certainly with an iron. I ended up being, I sort of caught the trees just on the left and just dropped straight down, probably 25, 30 meters short of the green. Hit a reasonable pitch, but it was sort of a little bit shorter, landed a bit shorter than what my landing zone was. And I thought it was going to land and stop dead, but actually this one bounced on a little bit to about 12 feet. Would have been, and I actually hit a quite a good putt, but it just didn't do what I thought it was going to do and rolled over the left lip and tapped in for an easy bogey.
So what are we sitting at this point? I was 4 over.
Yep.
And you're what, 1 over?
2.
2 over.
2. Just went
That's
bogey,
right.
bogey for
That's
so
right.
par,
Bang,
bogey,
bang.
bogey start.
Not a lot in it. A couple of shots when you think about it. So then we go to what was our 5th hole, the par 5 up the road. Not the easiest of par 5s, I've got to say. It's pretty much a genuine 3-shotter in fairness, because the front of the green is guarded by a bit of a cluster of about 4 or 5 bunkers as the fairway really narrows and climbs uphill at the end to a pretty difficult green. So you've definitely got to get a good drive away, which I'm happy to say I did. And that was up to the centre of the fairway. But the fairway, that was very spongy fairway.
It was a very spongy fairway.
So it was almost like hitting out of some spongy rough. in some respects, which I'm going to talk a bit about my 5-wood later in the episode as well, but I hit my 5-wood as it does traditionally right. It's definitely the sort of club that won't cut, likes to go right all the time, and it lived up to it there, which meant that I was in the trees, overhanging branches. All I could do was hit a low bump and run, trying to weave it through all of those 4 or 5 bunkers at the front of the green, which was nigh on impossible. But fortunately got to the one that was closest to the front of the green, but to a back pin. So probably, I reckon, about a 30-metre bunker shot, roughly, which with the new Vokey SM10s is just not a problem. So knocked it stiff and tapped in for an easy par.
That was a very good up and down. I was very impressed with your bunker shot.
The old Jason Butt Vokey wedges certainly do the trick out of the sand.
Yeah, so I stood up and I hit a little bit of a leaky right tee shot, sort of similar to the tee shot I hit on 12. I thought it was sort of heading into the right tree line.
So did I.
Yeah, and when we got down there, I was looking in the right tree line, sort of, got to about in line with your ball and I couldn't see it, and kept on going a little bit further and couldn't see it. And then all of a sudden I saw a ball probably, 70 metres in front of...
Ease up.
No, not 70.
12 metres maybe.
12? Come on. Middle of the fairway.
It was pumped. It was good.
And what I said to you is that I reckon that, because it's all hard pan lie going up that right-hand side of the fairway, I reckon it's hit the hard pan lie and probably hit the base of a tree and kicked out onto the fairway. That's the only explanation that I can that I have for it being that far up in the middle of the fairway, because that wasn't the line that the ball was on. But as you got to take the bad breaks, you got to take the good breaks. So I stood up. I actually was, and I forget the exact meterage, but it was sort of 200 to the flag. So I pulled out my three utility and almost hit exactly the same shot as what I hit with my driver, where it just leaked out to the right. And it got over one of the bunkers short right, and I couldn't see where it finished. Anyway, as I was sort of walking up there, I noticed how close the out of bounds was. And I was actually getting a little bit worried, I must admit. But when I got up there, it was actually pretty close to pin high right of the green, maybe 5 meters inside the ropes from out of bounds. So I was pretty happy and pretty fortunate. I think that I sort of got past the bunker. I got past, there were some sort of trees a little bit shorter than where my ball was actually on the out of bounds boundary, and I'd sort of got past all of that and was pin high to the right of the green. Hit a pretty ordinary pitch. In fact, it was a little bit of a chunky...
a little bit flubby.
Yeah, a little bit flubby. Landed on the downslope and ended up on the fringe. And then I hit one of my better putts of the day, which I thought was going in, but then just turned a little bit more than what I thought. Ended up maybe a foot or so past the hole and tapped in for an easy 5.
Tough hole, that one. Tough green, actually. Breaks a lot more than it looks like it's going to.
It does.
So, no, that was a good effort. So then we move on to 6, par 4, slight dogleg left. So can be a bit aggressive and try and take on the corner to a degree, but you can't go too hardcore on that. Otherwise, you end up getting yourself, there's a big eucalypt just past the corner that you end up getting blocked out on. But one place you really probably don't want to go is right on this hole, because it's there's not a lot that's good there. So I think you teed off first, didn't you, on this one?
Yeah, I teed off first, and look, I hit a reasonable tee shot. It was a good line, but it was a little bit of a cutty swing. I wasn't quite getting getting the club head into the position that I wanted on the downswing. So I ended up sort of hitting these little cuts all day, and it actually ran through the fairway and I was in the sort of the right tree line. But again, it sort of opened up a little bit, and I had a shot to the green. I only had, I think it was about maybe 103 or 104 meters to the flag. So I pulled out my 50 degree and hit a reasonably good shot. It actually caught a branch on the way through, and I thought it'd end up short. But then when we got down there, I was around about sort of about 15, 18 feet short of the flag, which I was pretty happy with, and ended up 2-putting for par.
It was a very good outcome, actually. And I thought your second was actually a really good shot. So
it actually was. I was pretty happy with my second shot. It's just that it just caught sort of a leaf / branch, and I said I thought it actually pulled off more than what it actually did. I think obviously if it didn't hit the branch, it would have been around about where pin high, but it ended up a bit short because it just caught this little leaf / branch.
Yes. So that allowed me to then stand up, and I hit a decent drive, a little bit out of the heel, so it cost me a bit of distance. So I reckon I was about 30 metres back from where you were, but I was centre of the fairway, so that was good. But that meant rather than hitting a wedge into the green, I was hitting a 7-iron, which I was actually really happy with it. It was one of my better struck iron shots all round. Hit the front edge of the green and just stopped dead, so I was kind of right on the front edge, right in the midst of where all the ducks were.
Yes.
And their remains they left behind. Yes. So I had to try and pick a line and weave it through all of the duck bombs. Droppings, which was good. So anyway, managed to do that. Easy 2-putt par. Move on with our lives and go to the next hole, our 7th. So what's that make it? The 16th, I suppose, on the hole, which is a very, very difficult par 4. A long
number 1 on the card.
I think it is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. A very, very long dogleg to the left par 4 with a drive through a bit of a narrow chute of trees, and then uphill all the way to the green with a heavily back to front sloping green. So tough hole, Andy Walker.
Yeah. Very tough hole. But look, tough holes are what I live for. So
fair income. Wow. Get that on a T-shirt, Pilgrims. Tough holes are what I live for. Andy Walker, 2025. Yeah.
Wow. Where was I? 16. That's right. So stood on the tee. I actually hit a reasonably good tee shot again, a little bit of a cutty swing, but still ended up sort of on the right sort of middle of the fairway. 6-iron into the green, which I hit reasonably well. Probably, I don't know, what was it? Maybe 40, 45 feet short of the flag. I mean, the pin was right at the back.
At the back. And it's a very heavily sloping green as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had a very long putt uphill, right to left, of which I drained for a 3.
Yeah, that was epic.
And I must admit that if it had missed the hole, it may not have been on the green. But
which is an interesting
draw pictures.
It's an interesting topic of conversation, which we'll get to in just a moment. Yes, so on said hole, I hit a similar tee shot to yours. It did take a slightly different ball flight to get to the same spot. And Pilgrims, picture this. It did. There's a big eucalypt on the right-hand side, just beyond, probably what would it be? It'd be about 40 or 50 metres beyond the tee box. So I've pumped my drive up the right side, and it was going towards the edge of this tree, and there was like a window that would have been, about 3 foot across, Andy Walker, I reckon. And the ball's just perfectly pierced through that window and got itself out there, actually pretty close to where yours was.
You know what it reminded me of? You saw the Ian Poulter video of him smashing the iron through the window.
Through the Lamborghini or whatever it was.
Yeah. So that's sort of what it reminded me of.
I don't think I would have had the confidence to do it on purpose.
Come on.
With that much at stake.
Let's just go with it, man. Let's go with it.
Maybe through a tree, but not through a Lamborghini. So pulled the 4 hybrid again up the hill and caught it a bit out of the hill, in fairness, I think. I was heel striking a bit in this round, which is very unusual.
It still looked good, though, like off the club face.
Oh, it looked all right.
It looked good.
It looked all right, and it kind of just skirted up onto the front edge of the green. So if yours was a 40-foot putt, mine was a 55-foot putt.
Yeah.
All the way up the hill. So thinking I need to give it a bit of a good run to get it all the way up that hill, which I did. And obviously your one, if it just missed the hole, would have been off the green. I reckon mine was similar because it did just miss the hole and it was just off the green. Which left a really nice little, probably 15-footer downhill, sliding right to left putt.
Off the fringe.
From the fringe, about 2 feet through the fringe before it got onto the green, which, obviously I just drained it and walked off with a par. Yeah.
Regulation, almost.
Yes.
Regulation. Which I then did make the comment, was that actually a 2-putt green? Or was it a 1-putt green?
Interested in your views on this, Pilgrims. In my view, it's a 2-putt still. Doesn't matter where you hit your second one from.
Of course, my understanding is that for it to be a putt, it's got to be on the putting surface.
Only your first one. I stand by this. I'm sure it's how the stats work. Once you start putting, technically, as in on the green, it doesn't matter where you hit them from after that. They still count as putts. Yeah, right. Even if you're using a sand wedge out of the bunker. Counts as a putt.
I'll have to look that up. Pilgrims, if you've got any views, let us know.
So, 2 holes to play. Where are we at now? I'm still at 4 over at this point.
Yeah. Well, I've just made birdie to get it back to 1 over.
3 shots in it, 2 to play. So, our 8th hole, or the 17th, is a very tough par 3 down the hill.
Yeah, downhill was what 190 something. What
193, I think, to the flag meters.
But it was into the flag, and of course, we were up high. You could see the storm coming. Over the
that's a good point. We were hearing all sorts of sounds playing 16 or our 7th, which I was attributing to being trucks or trains or something along those lines. It was obviously thunder.
It wasn't trucks or trains.
It wasn't. So, So anyway, tough par 3 down the hill. I pulled the hybrid again, hit another squirty one, wasn't happy with it. Hit a tree on the left, but kind of dribbled out. So at least I had a clear pitch, but I was still, 30 metres short of the pin, I would say.
Yep.
And got a bit frisky. Front pin. Hit a beautiful pitch over the pin to the back of the green.
Yep.
And I think I made the comment, geez, this would be a good par from here.
Yep.
And it very nearly was, but it wasn't. But left me with about a 6-inch tap-in bogey, which was a shame. Took me to 5 over after 8.
Yep. Well, I stood up and I actually felt as though I was a little bit in between clubs. I felt as though 4-iron, I probably wasn't going to get there with a 4-iron, even though it was downhill, mainly because it was into the wind. But I didn't want to go back to the hybrid, the utility, the 3 utility, because that would have just airmailed the green. So what I decided to do was just put it back in the stance and try and rifle a sort of 4-iron low draw into the green. And I probably put my best swing of the day on that shot and absolutely ripped it straight at the middle of the green. And it actually ended up probably 18, 20 feet past the hole.
That's a good shot.
With almost in the middle of the green with a nice little double breaking putt back to the flag, which I actually hit a really, really good putt on the line that I wanted to. And it looked really good for a long time, but then just sort of drifted off at the end to the right and ended up again with about a 6-inch par putt, which I just tapped in for an easy 3.
I want to take you back a couple of steps on this hole, though, because there was a moment we'd teed off, we'd walked down.
Ah, yes.
And I was standing over my pitch, ready to try and knock one onto the green. You, of course, were standing there watching, and that's always an opportunity for the mind to start doing its thing. Andy Walker, maybe take the Pilgrims through what went on.
Yeah, look, I stood there and, I've been working with Paul Salter. I've obviously read or been listening to Golf Beneath the Surface, trying to stay present, trying to stay in the moment and be mindful and aware of where I'm at. And as I was watching Steve line up to his pitch shot, I was looking at my putt going, look, if I can make that, I can just get it back to square. And the last looks like it's a relatively short par 4. So maybe I can even shoot under par on this hole, or, on this 9, or maybe even around about par. I'd be happy with par, having not played golf in 2025. And I caught myself. And then we had a conversation about living in the present as opposed to living in the future.
As opposed to doing your best impression of Doctor Who and becoming a time traveller.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so we step up onto the last, and at this point, I'm at +5, you're at +1. And now, just to set the scene, right? Like, because realistically, you're playing off 2, I'm playing off 8 at this point. So over 9 holes, let's halve it. Say you're playing off 1, I'm playing off 4. It's pretty tight going up the last when you look at it from that perspective.
Can't say I was thinking about it.
So, what happened here? Who teed off first on this one? Did you or did I?
No, I think you teed off first.
I think I did. And after talking about...
I think at this stage we were going...
We were trying to get in before the storm is exactly what was happening. Yeah.
There was thunder, there was lightning, and it was getting very, very close.
It's a quick game, it's a good game right now.
You know what? Let's just get in.
That's right. So I ran you through this hole, which is, I wouldn't call it a dog leg, but it's got a slight little curve in the middle of it to around to the right-hand side. And you can run through the fairway to the left. So we had that conversation about the line that you need to take, which is a little bit more aggressive than what it maybe looks. So, of course, I stepped up and blocked one well left, straight into the trees out on the left-hand side of the hole, which didn't look like there was going to be anything good coming from that. But we'll get to that in just a moment, Andy Walker, because how did your tee shot go on the last?
Again, pretty similar tee shot to the last couple, where I hit it reasonably well, but just had a little bit of a cutty swing, which actually suited the hole. It does sort of curve to the right.
Yeah.
So a left to right fade was actually, in a really good position. So I ended up, I think I was around about 105 to the flag, pretty much in the middle of the fairway.
Which is nice. I, however, was not in the middle of the fairway. I was over deep in the left trees, and I don't know if you remember, we were talking as we were walking up there, and I said, oh, look, you know what? I actually kind of hope that got far enough through, because there's every chance that I might, if I can get out onto the 10th, close to the 10th fairway, there could be a gap back towards the green. So I got over there, and I actually had got fairway through the tree line. I wouldn't say there was a gap, but there was an opportunity to get over a couple of eucalypts and get back towards the green. The problem was that taking out the laser rangefinder and trying to get a distance at this point was impossible, because all I was able to zap was the tree line, which was 75 metres away, and I'm like, I know that that's not right. I looked out where you were and I could see the 100 marker was out there, and I thought, oh, I'm obviously on the angle, I'm further than that, so I'm going to take a punt and hit a 9-iron. I reckon I'm about 125 out, which I did. I got over those trees and pretty happy about the fact I slapped it right in the middle of the green.
It actually, from my angle, it looked really good. I thought you were right next to the flag.
Yeah,
it looked like a really good golf shot.
So I was pretty happy with that, actually, from where I was in the rough with trees and all sorts of things to get past, and not knowing exactly how far I was as well. It was a bit like the old school when you're a kid and you've got no measuring devices and any of those sorts of things, and you just got to go, oh, I reckon that's about that far. Anyway, so that worked out quite nicely. Pretty easy 2-putt par from there, which was good to finish it at +5, which I've got to say, after being +4 after 3, to finish +5 after 9, I was actually pretty happy about that. How did the hole pan out for you, Andy Walker?
Well, because I actually thought you'd hit a couple of seconds earlier, so I stood up and with a 50-degree wedge, and if we go back to the 13th hole or our 4th hole, the par 3, and I said my 8-iron was my second worst swing of the day. Well, on 18. That 50-degree was my worst swing of the day.
It didn't look smooth, I've got to say.
I reckon I hit 4 inches behind the ball.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow.
But it still sort of travelled to sort of and it landed probably, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half short of the flag. But then with the slope, it actually ran back another, I was probably, maybe 15, 18 feet short of the flag on an upslope, with a what I would say is a reasonably easy chip and run up the, had a lot of green to work with. I pulled out a 9-iron and felt pretty confident over the ball, and chili dipped it in front of me.
So was that your worst swing of the day, though? Maybe worse than your 50?
Well, that's not a swing, really. Is it? I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, it certainly was my worst chip of the day. I have to say. I mean, it was, I don't think it was any better or worse than the previous shot. I think I just pulled out my 2 worst shots of the day in consecutive shots on the last. But anyway, then, so my 3rd shot, my 4th shot, I actually hit what I thought was a reasonably good chip shot, which is sort of what I was trying to do with the first chip. It actually went probably about 8 feet past the flag.
Yeah.
And then I hit a pretty ordinary putt, pulled it left, and didn't really even look like getting anywhere near the hole, and rolled about 3 feet past, and then actually had a 3-footer for 6. So yeah. A nice double bogey 6 to finish my 9 holes at 3 over.
And I know how much you love a bad finish as well, which...
Look, at the end of the day, I think we were very focused on getting off the golf course at that stage. So I didn't really give it a lot of thought. And also given that it wasn't really...
No, we went out there for the score.
It was just a social game.
Yes.
Again, wasn't overly concerned by the finish. So it's one of those things, like literally the meaning of it is what it is.
Yeah. Which the nice thing was, though, I thought, as a way of wrapping that up, as a good opportunity to have a round of golf together, that you finishing at +3, me at +5. Look, take the handicaps off, and we're both net 1 over.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's some maths for you there, Andy Walker. Actually, no.
No, I'm
incorrect.
+2.
You're at +2. I'll take the win. Thanks for playing. There you go, Pilgrims. That was the 9-hole showdown.
Yeah. The shootout, or was it the showdown?
I don't know.
I was more of a shootout.
Do you want shootout? Because I feel like this is going to be the name of the episode. Whatever we come up with, the shootout. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
It's the shootout.
The shootout at Golf Club.
Yep.
I like it.
That's what it was. Which was fantastic. It was followed by a fantastic dinner at Wenty as well. Some good food.
That schnitty
quality.
How big was it?
Enormous.
It covered.
I don't want to.
Wow.
I do not want to come across the chicken that schnitty comes from.
I reckon they've laid it in, man. Like that had to be more than one chicken.
It has to be. It's enormous.
Yeah.
But look, anyway, it was good fun. It was so good to finally get a round of golf together after some time in between swings, and just to be honest, to get back out on the golf course. But
even still, that is actually 2 consecutive rounds of golf that I've played with you. Of course, the last round of golf that I played was the
Coimbra.
31st of December at Coimbra, the last year's yearly championship finale.
Yes, the previous shootout.
That was my last round of golf. Mind you, in saying that, I did play 4 holes in like a lot of rain with a couple of guys, but then we just walked off the course because we were soaked. So but they were 2 consecutive rounds that we played.
True. That's good.
Pretty happy with.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got to say, Andy Walker, I feel like after that, and a couple of other 9s that I've also played, sort of midweek in the twilight stuff that we've got going on here at my home course, I feel like I'm close. It's not far away. There's still a couple of bad swings sneaking in every so often. We don't need to go back to the first hole, the 10th tee at Wentworth to go any further than that to find a couple of bad swings. But on the whole, I feel like there's a lot more good swings than bad swings at the moment, and I think things are close. Like my last 3 9s have been +4, +5, and +5, which, that's, what's that, 14 over for 27 holes. I'm pretty happy with that. Well, that's relatively solid of there or thereabouts to handicap numbers at the moment.
Yep.
And with that, there's been a few really awful holes, but then there's been some stretches of pretty good golf in amongst it. So, I think it's not far away. And I have, Andy Walker, had a breakthrough, which I think is worth sharing with the Pilgrims. And it's about the 5-wood. So you might recall I was talking during that round how the 5-wood is the go right club. So anyway, thought occurred to me the other day, because I remember making this change with my driver some years ago with the adjustable hosel, how if you adjust the hosel to add loft, it actually closes the club face.
Yep.
Bit counterintuitive for mine, but that's what happens. If you...
I would have thought it was the opposite.
So would I, but it's not. It's if you add loft, you're closing. It might be the way that the lie goes, but if like on your driver, if you reduce loft, you give more of a cut bias. If you're adding loft, you're giving more of a draw bias. So I thought to myself, since my 5-wood likes to always, kind of start right and a bit of a draw, that means I'm obviously delivering the club face slightly closed to impact.
Yep.
So if I adjust it to reduce loft by a degree, that should open it slightly. So I thought it was worth a shot. Tested out in the high performance centre last night, and it was inconclusive results, but it looked like there was a couple that might have been working for. Anyway, I took it out on the course this afternoon for a few holes just to test it out, and absolutely lasered a couple dead straight, maybe with a tiny little baby fade.
Nice.
So that's exciting, because if I can have that straighter and a bit more reliable and not trying to fight it from pulling it, that's a game changer.
Yeah, well, certainly either on a tight par 4 tee shot or maybe a second shot to put yourself in a good position on a par 5, having that club where you're pretty confident to be able to get it somewhere in play is super important. I mean,
It is.
That's your reliable. Yeah, you've got your driver, and it's you need to be playing well, and swinging well with your driver to be able to score. But then there are always going to be those holes where it just doesn't suit your eye, or there's trouble either left or right, that you just want to get your ball in play. And that's where that club, I mean, for me, it's the 3 utility, and I feel pretty confident with the 3 utility. But you having that 5 wood as effectively the same club, just to be able to get it in play is really important.
Yes. So that is an exciting possibility, let's say. Hopefully it continues in that path. I mean, who knows? But definitely it has been consistent, but it's been consistently right all the time. Yeah. So if this can just straighten it out a little bit, then that'll be quite a weapon, I think. So I'm hopeful, definitely hopeful. So yeah, that's from my perspective, that's kind of where it's at the moment. I think it's it's getting there. I'm also working on a little thing with my putting at the moment, of trying to really be disciplined, looking at a specific spot at the back of the ball, which keeps the eyes there for longer, rather than allowing your vision to kind of move as your putter head comes into the ball. Just quietening down the eyes.
Is that the quiet eye that you were telling me about?
It's the quiet eye. That's a topic for discussion on another occasion, but that's an interesting one as well. And I think the last point that I would say, Andy Walker, is that I genuinely feel older and wiser.
Wow. What do you think that is?
Can't put my finger on
it. Just like a feeling you get?
It's definitely a feeling.
Intuition?
Feeling in my bones. Oh yeah.
Men's intuition?
Yeah, it's in my waters. So anyway, that's what's going on. Yeah. So how about you? Where's the game at for you at the moment?
Oh, it's pretty rusty. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. There were a lot of rusty swings on Friday afternoon. There was, they weren't even rusty chips. They were just poor chips. I've got a lot of work to do on my short game. I feel as though I'm putting well. I feel like my putting stroke has been pretty consistent for a little while now. But there's a lot of work for me to do, and I don't feel that confident over the ball, that I'm going to put the swing on it that I want to put on it. And certainly the short game, chipping and pitching is something I need to do a fair bit of work on. So that's going to be the focus, just trying to get back into the high performance center and spend some time in there working on my swing. And of course, again, through the country championships and then into December, I started to actually feel quite good about where my swing was. So I don't think it's going to take a huge amount of work. Certainly not, the groundwork that I laid last year, I think is going to put me in good stead to be able to have a good year this year. But, given we're 2 weeks away from the New South Wales Senior Amateur Championships, round 1, I'd like to say I'm confident, but
you'd be lying.
Really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think next episode we look forward to a full rundown of your preparation coming into that tournament. Actually, we should also mention, just for the benefit of the pilgrims, a little bit of an update with the foursomes.
Yes.
We did get in the field.
Well, because I did send Emmanuel an email just saying, look, let's, withdrawing from the reserve list, just to provide a bit of certainty. And from there, we sort of had the discussion, and my lovely wife has to travel down into Sydney a couple of days a week, and so she's organised with work to be able to go in on the Monday, and then because I'm likely playing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending if I make the cut Thursday. So she was going in Monday, Friday that week. Then we received an email back from a manual saying, hey, we're going to increase the field size by one group. So
you boys are in.
You boys are in.
What are the chances?
If you want a spot.
Yeah.
So then, I said to Emmanuel, I wrote back to Emmanuel and just said, look, I'm going to catch up with Steve over the weekend, and I'll let you know what we decide. And in our discussions, I felt pretty guilty about then having to go back to the wife and say, oh, hey, by the way, we got in.
Now we're playing.
Now we're playing. So yeah, I just didn't feel as though that was a fair thing to do. And I think sometimes you've got to, even though it's not necessarily what you want to do, you've got to make a decision based on family and family values. And
there was a few other factors at play.
That was the fair thing to do. And certainly, yeah, I mean, the way we played and playing at Pacific Dunes.
Yeah, I think let's be honest with ourselves. Like, there's all that sort of stuff. Also, yeah. I had cancelled my annual leave, so would have had to have then gone back to reapply for it, which was probably not a problem, but it's not a great look. But no. Like, realistically, all of those pressures, family, work, etc. aside, I think there was a point in time on Saturday where we had an honest conversation and said, we are dead set kidding ourselves if we think we can take this game to Pacific Dunes as the last qualifying pair to slide into the field and not absolutely embarrass ourselves. So,
and look, I quite like Pacific Dunes as a golf course. I think it's I think it's a really good layout, but it is probably the only golf course that I've ever played where every single hole there's trouble both sides of the fairway.
It's dead. It's like, straight or dead.
Yeah. It's brutal. So if you're not playing well, which is going to be quite interesting for me going up there in a couple of weeks, which is why I do want to spend a bit of time in the high performance center, just trying to sort my swing out. And even if I go in there underdone a little bit from a competition perspective, I want to have a swing where I can at least get it on the fairway somewhere, where I'm not actually hitting it like I did on 11, where I'm hitting it
you can't do
two
that.
fairways
you
wide.
Do that.
And that is quite literally just tee it up again and reload.
Yeah. In a stroke event, it'd be ugly.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a little update for the Pilgrims. It is disappointing. We won't be taking part in that tournament. I mean, if they had the field size increased from the get-go, we would have been going. But the fact that we were told no and then yes, it just did become a little bit too problematic once we'd wrapped our heads around the fact that we weren't playing to then decide that we were going to play. So anyway, interested in the Pilgrims' views. I'm sure that will get a split response. There'll be a certain number of people that will be calling us out for all sorts of softness and whatnot. And you know what? Fair point. If you've probably got a point. No issue with that, but we certainly, I think, made the sensible decision on that front, and we'll be bigger and better next time around.
Yes.
No doubt about the fact that we'll be bigger, but maybe not better.
Well, I mean, we did actually talk about the fact that we've both been looking after ourselves so far in 2025, and you've lost a few kilos and I've lost a few kilos, and looking forward to consistently seeing an 8. That's in kilos, so in the 80s for 2025, whereas I definitely started in the 90s, but looking forward to getting down into the 80s and possibly the mid 80s, somewhere around sort of 83 to 85. I think it'd be a good range for me.
So putting an imperial spin on that in pounds, we've just dipped below the 200-pound barrier in New Walker, because that's actually 200 pounds is around about 91 kilos.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yep. So, well, I'm right on the 90, like you're almost dead smack on 90 kegs at the moment. At least it feels like 90 kegs.
Anyway, it's getting a bit personal, but anyway, that's all good. Pilgrims, that's probably about all we've got time for. That was the shootout. The shootout at Wenny.
It was. If I can actually make one more point, because and I was thinking about this when I was saying what's sort of what's good about my game, and I then missed sort of coming back to it. And one of the things that I mentioned to you as well when we were talking on the way back from golf at Wenny, is that the work I've been doing in regards to the hypnotherapy with Paul Salter, in regards to the mindful sort of meditation awareness, has done wonders for my focus when I'm over the ball.
It's good.
I really felt, zoomed in and focused on every shot. So it's definitely having that practice, the mindful meditation practice and some visualization has definitely helped me when I'm over the golf ball. So that's going to continue, and looking forward to having but at least being a scratch golfer in my head when I'm visualizing myself.
Which is nice. I really need to pull a montage of all of your previous comments about meditation together and play that back to you at some point. Anyway, no, it's good. It's good. It helps to quiet the eye, apparently, by listening to what you're saying there.
Does it?
Sounds like it.
I don't know. Because we were, again, discussing that briefly, and because especially when I'm putting, I use my peripheral vision a lot when I'm putting, and that's not the quiet eye.
It's not a quiet eye at all. No, that's a noisy eye.
Yeah. So, but that's how I was taught. I was taught to use my peripheral vision and having a soft focus on the ball rather than having a hard focus on the ball. And I know there's the theory around focusing on a dimple or something specifically on the ball, but that's not how I was taught to putt.
We're going to have to dig into this on another day. Yes, controversial stuff, Pilgrims. Anyway, Andy Walker, it's been a lot of fun.
Has been.
I think we've come to our allotted time. And what that means, Pilgrims, is just a reminder, get your cards in, get your scores in for the yearly championship, and also get recommending. Send us to one of your friends. There could be no better gift to a mate than sending them us to listen to.
Well, apparently it lifts the Pilgrims' days. I mean, we listen
it does
to Kerrod.
Yeah. If you know someone having a tough time at the moment, send them the Missing Links Golf Show. It'll sort out everything. Maybe if you know, I don't know, if you've got friends that are going through some relationship troubles or something like that, maybe send them the Missing Links Golf Show. And really put the final nail in the coffin. Don't do that. It's very, very unprofessional. Anyway, Andy Walker.
At what point have we ever tried to be professional? Seriously?
Not yet. Maybe one day. Who knows? It's possible. Anyway, if you've come this far, thank you and apologies. Andy Walker, any other final words of advice? Anything that we should be thinking about or doing at this point?
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our Pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, Pilgrims.